Well, as you can see, there is no visibility. So it's the old style S-turns and using your peripheral out these side windows. So I just kind of gentle turns here, left and right, make sure there's nobody pulled out in front of me since I've been parked over there at the ramp. And the coast is clear, so now I'm just going to keep us equal on both sides of the taxiway here.
Yeah, there's no forward visibility.
No. So 1929 Curtis Robin. It's got the Continental 220 engine up front. Didn't shut it off, so we're not going to do a run up here. We're just going to kind of take the runway and go flying. So same thing as with all the other antiques that I like to do. I like to keep her straight down the runway, get the power up. As soon as the tail wheel starts to lift, I just apply very gentle back pressure and just let her fly herself off. I let the airplane do the talking. I just kind of coach it along with these old antiques. Mount Pleasant traffic, it's Curtis Robbins departing 17 Mount Pleasant. Are you ready?
Yep, good to go.
Alright, mixture's in, primer's still locked, mags are on both, engine's looking great. We're gonna go play. So here I'm just using my peripheral on both sides of these windows here. So here comes the tail, there's my gentle back pressure. I'm just gonna let the airplane talk to me. She'll tell me when she's ready to fly. There we go. Nice easy takeoff. Everything's still looking good on the engine, so we'll make a nice gentle turn out to the west. Mount Pleasant traffic, Curtis Robbins, right turn departing there to the west, Mount Pleasant. So you got to be really diligent flying this one with, even though I'm still in cruise and the tail's up a little bit, I still can't see.
Yeah, no kidding.
Out the front, so you got to be a pretty diligent scanner using your side windows to make sure you're not turning into anybody or into anything. Or this time of day, I noticed it on the previous flight. A lot of buzzards flying around the area right now, so
I saw that earlier as well.
Looking for a lot of flocks of buzzards. This is the last thing I want to do is hit one of those things in a rare airplane like this. Scott would be upset, but I think Kelly would come down here from Washington and shoot me. So, kind of get it to a cruise altitude that I like, and if I'm not going anywhere, if I'm just hopping rides, these Continental 220s just love about 1750 RPM. They run nice and smooth and not burning a crazy amount of fuel there. Believe it or not, another 50 RPMs up to about 1800 adds quite a bit of power to it. Burns a little bit more fuel there. Well, we're not worried about going anywhere. We're enjoying the ride, so we're going to save a gallon an hour and just kind of cruise and be easy on it. So at 1750 RPM, we're clicking along about 85 mile an hour. Wow, what a pretty day for February.
And it really is.
Hey, and it's margarita day, right? That means we're going to go get a margarita after this.
Oh, there we go. There you go, twisting my arm and everything.
Well, I've flown and you've flown. We're done for the day, right?
Yeah, right.
One of the fun flight characteristics of this airplane is, airplanes back in the 20s just didn't quite have aerodynamics figured out yet. If you take a shot right out the wing, you can see that beautiful curvature of the wing. That's just an old school airfoil that they had back then. The airplane is not a very, what I would say, maneuverable airplane. Everything is really sluggish on it. So, also back then, they didn't have all the adverse yaw devices like these newer airplanes do. So, you use very little aileron and a whole lot of rudder. Seems like that's just a continual progression of getting better in newer and newer airplanes you fly. The funny story, when we first started flying the 1925 Waco 9, Kelly warned me. He says, the book states that ailerons are mere suggestion. It's an all-rudder airplane.
Really?
And he flew it, and he says, oh my gosh, that is so true. And then I flew it, and I was like, oh my gosh, you get that thing into turbulence, it's no fun at all.
Kiest about 5 miles final, runway 17. We are doing to the touch and go. Mark, present regional.
And that's a King Air? Huh, strange.
No present, King Air 70, whiskey 5 mile final, full stop 17. No present.
Okay, so what's fun about these old 1920s era airplanes like this one and the Travel 6000 and the Ford Trimotor, you don't really just tell it to go on this heading. It's like a big yacht, according to Scott. It's the best way he can describe it. You just kind of chauffeur it along. You know, we'll be pointed this way and then we'll be pointed this way, but you just kind of chauffeur it in the direction you want to go. If you try to keep a perfect heading, you'll be so tired after 30 minutes of flying, you'll be ready to land.
Oh, wow.
That's really hard to do when you're on a 4-hour or 5-hour cross country in one day. But not many of these Robins are left in existence. I wish Kelly could have done the walk around with you because he knows all the exact numbers. A lot of the Robins began in the 20s with either the Challenger engine, the little radial, or even the OX5. As technology improved and got better, they started putting, a couple of them put these Continental engines on them, which makes it a very reliable, dependable, safe airplane. I think another variant of the Robin was the inline, I think it's a Lycoming engine. I don't know much about that engine. It'd be a good Kelly fill in. Me being 6'1", this is about all I can fit in.
Wow.
It is pretty tight. It's a steerable tail wheel on it, and it doesn't pre-caster, so it's really difficult to make tight turns. You have to lead your turns and, you know, kind of be careful with where you're going with it because you can get it in a corner that you can't get out. And then you're the guy out there pushing it back by hand trying to straighten it out. So there's some little quirks, but really for a 1920s airplane, it's really a nice flying airplane and very enjoyable. So it does have 2 fuel tanks, 1 tank in each wing, and it's a tank selecting system. So right now we're running on the right tank, and the fuel gauge is out there. It's a little bitty pod hanging down. If you look out this side window right here, this middle side window, you can see the little pod and the fuel pickup there. And it's the same thing on this left wing, and it carries 25 gallons in each wing. So you can do the math. That's 50 gallons of gas, and the way we're running right now at 85 miles an hour is probably 13 gallons an hour at most.
Hey, tell Dusty when y'all get there, tell him get to work.
That was probably the longest 7 miles you've ever been on.
One of the funnest for sure.
Oh yeah, this thing's a hoot. The enjoyable thing about giving rides in this thing is you can go in the wintertime.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Although it's 80 degrees today, we could be in the Stearman.
True.
So there's really one speed to this thing. You just fly it by power adjustments.
Really?
If you want to descend, you pull power off and you keep the same speed. If you want to climb, you just give it power and you keep the same speed. When you want to land, you keep the same speed. You just judge it by power. You fly it on. That one.
That's Scott's plan over there, isn't it?
Yeah, I figure we might as well circle around.
Cool.
The flag is perfect today for a picture.
It really is. Beautiful day.
So I'll just keep us on the south side of the plant, kind of parallel the highway here and let you get a shot of it.
All right.
What sponsors us getting to fly this airplane today? This flight is brought to you by Mid-America Pet Food. So what's better, TBM or Curtis Robin? Be honest.
Oh, Curtis Robin.
There you go.
I mean,
I'm not going to have to drop you off out here now.
1929, Curtis Robin.
one of the fun comparisons, oh well, here's the Tefu plane, I'll let you get the shot of it, but one of the fun comparisons of this airplane, along with, you know, Scott realized it when he was bringing his Fairchild 22 home from Pennsylvania. One of the fun things about these old airplanes is you think about the fuel range this airplane has at, you know, 85 to even, you know, I can push it up to 90 or 95 even. But that fuel range, what other vehicle could go from Mount Pleasant, Texas to Memphis nonstop back in the 20s and 30s?
Wow.
That's just, it kind of hits a little down to earth right there. They go, wow, I'm really flying a time capsule.
No kidding.
Time machine, that is. He made it home in that little Fairchild, and I think it was like 3.5 hours from Memphis to Mount Pleasant. Wow. And, you know, he made that nonstop in that little Warner-powered 145-horse open cockpit airplane. And, you know, people back then were still using the old Fords and the horse and carriage, and it's really kind of fun to think about that this thing back in the day was pretty special.
Yeah, true.
And you take the old Howard DGA, for example, you can leave here and go to Florida nonstop. What could do that in 1940? You know, it's pretty incredible what these old airplanes were capable of. And then, you know, just a few years after this, is, you know, we started working our way into World War II, and we were going from fabric-covered airplanes that, you know, were flying around at 100 miles an hour to the P-51 doing 400 in just a matter of a couple of years.
Oh, yeah, true.
Another one of those things Scott likes to present to people. It just kind of opens your eyes a little bit. It's a lot of fun to think about. We'll just kind of mosey our way back to the airport.
Nice.
I hate to wear this thing out for Kelly to get back. A little shoe-in for the movie. This airplane was used in a little lower budget film called Pearl. It was about a young lady in Oklahoma. Her father was a very successful businessman, but he was blind. So he started teaching his young daughter to, you know, drive him around to business meetings and all over the country, when even before she could get her driver's license, she was a very mature, special young lady. Well, he started taking flying lessons from Wiley Post and all of them, and ended up her father buying a Curtiss Robin, and that's what he used as a corporate aircraft back in the 30s. So an individual filmmaker decided to do a movie about it. It's a really good Christian-based family movie, and it's just called Pearl. That was her name. And they used this airplane along with a few of the other antique Barnstormer guys that's kind of well known in the area. And she would go around flying air shows with it, carrying her dad around to businesses, really promoting aviation. She got to fly the Winnie Mae, making her one of the few people other than Wiley Post to fly the Winnie Mae, which is pretty cool to say. But so this airplane was used in the movie, so if y'all can find the movie Pearl, it is definitely worth a watch. Mount Pleasant traffic, Curtiss Robins 1 mile to the west. Crossover top for midfield for left downwind 17, Mount Pleasant. Well, I got my one good landing out of the way, so this one will be fun. Kind of like the takeoff. You just kind of slow her down, get it down to ground effect, and just wait for her to touch. Kind of ease it on. Don't rush anything. You see our shadow down there on the ground. That's pretty. Oh, there goes Scott.
Yep, I see him.
He'll probably be all excited, come running out to see who's in this airplane. Take it from me.
Yeah, he might.
I hope he does. He needs to fly it.
Yeah, he does.
Especially as good as she's running. Mount Pleasant traffic, Curtiss Robins, left base 17, Mount Pleasant. So very little aileron, and I've got a lot of rudder in it. Nobody's on final. Got to make this blind turn right here. There's ground effect, just kind of let her walk her way in. Gently slow down and let her touch. There it is.